In a world where wars are no longer just fought on battlefields, power has become invisible, strategic, and terrifyingly complex. 4 nations, 4 different military philosophies, 4 different ways to dominate a region where one mistake can ignite a global conflict. The tombs of forgotten kings hidden beneath the desert. Civilizations rose and disappeared along the Nile, leaving behind stories carved into stone. But now, deep in the Egyptian desert, a completely different kind of monument is rising. Not a pyramid, not a temple, but an entire futuristic city. A city designed to reshape how millions of people live, work, govern, and survive in the 21st century. A city built almost from nothing. This is the story of Egypt's new administrative capital, one of the largest and most ambitious urban megaprojects on Earth. A project so massive that many people still struggle to understand its true scale. And a project that could redefine the future of modern Egypt itself. For decades, Cairo carried the weight of history. As one of the largest cities in Africa and the Middle East, Egypt's capital became a center of politics, culture, education, and business. But over time, success created pressure. More people arrived every year. Traffic expanded beyond control. Pollution intensified. Infrastructure struggled to keep up with rapid population growth. Cairo is home to more than 20 million people, making it one of the most densely populated urban regions in the world. And Egyptian planners understood something critical. The city could not continue expanding forever without major consequences. So the government proposed an extraordinary solution. Instead of endlessly repairing overcrowding, build an entirely new capital city, from the ground up. Located roughly 45 kilometers east of Cairo, the new administrative capital began construction in the mid-2000s as part of Egypt's long-term national development strategy. Its purpose was ambitious. Reduce pressure on Cairo, create a modern center for government and business, attract international investment, expand infrastructure, and build a city designed for the future rather than the past. But this was not planned as a small extension of Cairo. The scale was enormous from the very beginning. Wide highways cut through the desert. Massive residential districts appeared where there was once only sand. Government ministries began relocating from central Cairo into newly constructed administrative buildings. Foreign embassies prepared for future relocation. Financial districts emerged, universities, hospitals, smart infrastructure systems, public transportation networks. Everything designed as part of a completely new urban ecosystem. And at the center of this transformation stands one of the most symbolic structures in modern Africa, the iconic tower. Rising more than 390 meters into the sky, the iconic tower became the tallest building in Africa. Its glass-covered structure dominates the skyline of the new capital, representing Egypt's attempt to present itself not only as a nation of ancient civilization, but as a country focused on technological modernization and economic transformation. Around it, an entire central business district continues developing with support from both Egyptian and international companies, including major Chinese investment and construction partnerships. And this international cooperation reflects a much larger global trend. Modern megacities are no longer simply local projects. They are geopolitical statements. A way for nations to signal ambition, stability, and future economic potential. But perhaps the most fascinating part of the new administrative capital is not its skyscrapers. It is the idea behind the city itself. Egypt is attempting to build what many planners describe as a smart city. A city where digital systems help manage transportation, energy usage, surveillance, infrastructure, and public services more efficiently. Solar energy projects. Electronic monitoring systems. Modern transportation networks including electric rail systems and monorails. Large green spaces designed to reduce urban stress. Even artificial intelligence and digital administration systems are expected to play increasing roles over time. In many ways, the project represents Egypt's attempt to prepare for a future where climate pressure, population growth, and urban efficiency become critical national issues. Because this city is not only about prestige, it is also about survival. And yet, despite the futuristic vision, questions remain. Can an entirely new capital truly reduce the pressure on Cairo? Will ordinary Egyptians be able to afford living there? Can such a massive project succeed economically in a rapidly changing global economy? Supporters see the city as a symbol of modernization and long-term planning. Critics worry about cost, accessibility, and social inequality. But regardless of opinion, one fact is undeniable. The new administrative capital is already reshaping Egypt's future, not through ancient monuments carved into rock, but through glass, steel, data, and ambition rising from the desert itself. And this is only the beginning of the story, because beneath the futuristic skyline lies a deeper question. What happens when one of the world's oldest civilizations attempts to reinvent itself for an entirely new century? For thousands of years, Egypt's greatest cities were shaped by one force above all others: the Nile River. Ancient kingdoms rose along its banks. Trade routes expanded around it. Entire civilizations survived because of it. But the new administrative capital represents something completely different. A city built away from the Nile's traditional center of gravity. A city designed not around ancient geography, but around modern strategy. And that decision alone reveals how dramatically Egypt's priorities are changing in the 21st century. The new capital is not intended to replace Cairo completely. Instead, it is meant to redistribute pressure. Government institutions gradually began relocating from central Cairo into the new city. Massive administrative complexes now host ministries and official state operations. Diplomatic districts were designed for embassies. Business centers were created to attract investment. Residential areas expanded for future growth. Even transportation systems were planned to connect the new capital with Cairo through highways, rail systems, and monorail networks. The vision is clear: create a second center of gravity for modern Egypt. And in many ways, the project reflects a broader transformation happening across the Middle East and Africa. Countries are increasingly investing in megacities, smart infrastructure, and futuristic urban planning to prepare for rapidly growing populations and technological change. But Egypt's project stands apart because of its symbolism. This is not a nation with a short history attempting modernization. This is one of humanity's oldest civilizations attempting to redesign its future while carrying the weight of its past. For generations, the world associated Egypt primarily with antiquity: pharaohs, pyramids, ancient temples, tourism connected to history. But the new administrative capital sends a different message. Egypt does not want to be viewed only as a museum of the ancient world. But Pakistan's strength is not based only on nuclear weapons. Its army has decades of operational experience. Border conflicts, counter-terrorism operations, mountain warfare, urban warfare. For years, Pakistan's military has operated in one of the most unstable security environments on Earth. Modern financial districts intended to attract international business, large-scale residential developments, religious landmarks, including one of the largest cathedrals in the Middle East, and major mosque complexes built side by side, symbolizing coexistence and national identity. Even the architecture reflects a mixture of global modernism and regional influence. Glass towers rise from desert landscapes that remained nearly empty for centuries. At night, illuminated highways and skyscrapers create scenes that look more like futuristic science fiction than traditional images of Egypt most people recognize. And yet, perhaps the most fascinating aspect of the project is psychological, because the city is also about national confidence. A statement that Egypt intends to remain influential in a rapidly changing world. Large infrastructure projects often serve political and symbolic purposes beyond economics alone. They demonstrate ambition, capability, control, and long-term vision. Historically, civilizations built monumental structures to communicate power to future generations. Ancient Egypt built pyramids. Modern Egypt is building cities. But behind the massive architecture are ordinary human stories. Construction workers who spent years building roads across the desert. Engineers designing digital systems for a city still growing. Families hoping for better housing and less crowded living conditions. Young Egyptians imagining careers inside new business districts. For some, the city represents opportunity. For others, uncertainty. Because building a city is one challenge, filling it with sustainable economic life is another. Urban megaprojects around the world often face difficult questions. Can infrastructure expand faster than economic demand? Will population movement happen naturally? Can affordability match ambition? And can futuristic planning truly solve long-term urban pressure? These questions will likely shape the future of the new administrative capital for decades. But regardless of future outcomes, the project has already achieved something historically significant. It changed the global conversation about modern Egypt. The world is no longer looking only backward toward Egypt's ancient achievements. It is also watching what Egypt may become next. Perhaps that is the true meaning of the new administrative capital, not simply a city, but a transition, a bridge between two eras of Egyptian identity, one rooted in ancient civilization, and another searching for a place in the future global order. Because history alone cannot build tomorrow, every civilization eventually faces the same challenge: adapt or risk being left behind. And now, in the middle of the desert, Egypt is attempting one of the boldest transformations in its modern history, a futuristic metropolis rising beside one of the oldest civilizations on Earth. A place where ancient legacy and modern ambition now stand face to face beneath the same desert sky.